Okay, so I got that other side top panel off. The next panel that's got to come off is this one right here that covers the front end of the gas tank. Now you got three different, or actually five screws. You got two Allen screws here, one side. You got two Allen screws on the other side, and you've got one right in the center. I'm going to go ahead and take this one out first. This is the longer of the two. Notice it also has the little plastic washers, so be careful you don't drop them. That's the one that I actually got lost. This one I also use a hand screwdriver only because this one is right under the edge of this fairing, and while I can bend this fairing up a little bit, I can't bend it up enough to get the power driver right up in that little space. So rather than scratch up the side of the fairing, just take that out. All right, finally, this center that will take this panel off. Notice the screw right up in here. Metal washer on that one. And this whole panel slides forward gently. Notice there's a little hook, a little plate, and a little hook right here. So when you put it back on, make sure you go a little bit further and slide it back under. That way your lines between the tank and this panel, the little back panel, will look right. Next thing I have to do is, well, I'll show you. Right here is where I installed the Gorilla alarm. You'll notice I used the double-sided Velcro tape. I cleaned the inside of this plastic fairing panel with an alcohol swab. That made the Velcro tape fit that much stronger. If you don't clean that off, there's a good chance the grime will just cover up the sticky part of the tape and it'll come off real quick. So I cleaned it off really good with alcohol swab, let it dry up, and it stuck real good. Now, to get the power cables back to the battery is the funky part of this whole project. What I've got to do is release the gas tank from the front. It's hinged in the back. I'm going to release it from the front and tilt it forward, or tilt it up just a little bit, which will allow me to get the cables underneath it. Don't worry about it. We're not going to tilt it up very far, and the gas hose is plenty long enough to take care of it. Let's go ahead and get the seat panels off. Now the back panel releases, the back seat releases with a key lock. The front seat panel has a little lever underneath, and you can see the battery. So let's go ahead get these two bolts off that hold the front of the gas tank down. Really good. There's a torque setting on that power screwdriver. I keep it about 3.5 pounds. I figure that's appropriate for the plastic elements of the fairing. All right. By the way, I didn't mention it before, but all this panel removal, the gas tank bolts, everything is in the Yamaha manual, Yamaha FZ1 manual. And everything that I'm doing in this particular process can be done with the Yamaha toolkit that comes with the bike. Got a small piece of 2x4 here that I used. Turns out to be just the right height to get under that. You see it hinges right back here. And now, if you take a look, you can see the wiring, the power wiring goes from here, from the little modular jack. I ran it behind this little foam pad, back underneath this side panel, behind this particular hose, which is it's a cold hose. It doesn't carry anything hot. I came back under here, ran underneath the tail bracket for the gas tank, and then connected the positive negative leads to the battery. All right, that is the install of the alarm system itself. There's two additional elements that need to be installed here. The first is the two-way antenna, or the transceiver for your remote control. And that is this small little unit right here. Again, installed just a couple inches forward of the alarm. Use the two-sided tape with the Velcro so that you can take it out. Put it back in if you need to. Not that you'd ever need to. Now the antenna, the receiver to activate is this blue wire here. And what I did was I just ran this up across the front. It's a pretty stiff wire. I ran it up against the front, underneath a couple other wires, and wrapped around a little bit of this fairing bracket up here. The last thing that needs to be installed is the tilt sensor. And let me show you where that is. The Gorilla manual says you can install it under the seat. Unfortunately, it just didn't work there at all, at least not on this bike. What I did, this is the wire to the tilt sensor, is I installed it on this little flat panel right up here. Again, it's part of the fairing bracket, holds the instrument panel. There's a little flat space right on the front that seemed to work just right. It angles back a little bit, but I talked to tech support guys there, and they said it was fine. Now, I did have to play with the horizontal angle, the left and right angle, and I found that to make the tilt sensor work just right, it was just a little bit less than horizontal to the ground. The left side was a little bit higher than the right, and the tilt, when it was on its side stand and was lifted up, was perfect. So again, you may want to play with that since it's stuck on with Velcro. Not a big deal. You can always adjust it later. So I'm trying to think of what else. I guess the next part of the process is to put the bike back together. Now, I trust if you've made some notes and that you've taken all your nuts and bolts and stored them neatly and not knocked them over, that you'll be able to, one at a time, just go ahead and reassemble. So I'm not going to go through that particular part of it. So that is the installation of the Gorilla 8017 two-way paging cycle alarm, and the install on a 2007 FZ1. And I want to thank the videographer for this particular project, my daughter Emily. Go ahead and smile, Emily. All right, not in the mood to smile. Guys, gals out there, hope it all works for you. Got any questions, go ahead and leave a message on this particular YouTube post, and I'll get back with you. Oh, by the way, the only other mods I've done on this bike is the sliders on the side and the new Pugue touring windshield, light smoke. Love the bike. Bye for now.